Hello, this is Dr. Wells with Wells Medicine, and my children's schools told them they're not allowed to use their phones during the school day anymore. And I love this. So I have been railing against phone use in kids and adults as well. For the last 10 years that I've been doing ketamine treatment for treatment-resistant depression. I have seen just that our phones are dominating our lives in a way that it really isolates us and brings a lot of negativity into our everyday. And adults are really bad at being able to screen this out and limit themselves, and kids are even worse. So one of the things that I saw many years ago was that my oldest in middle school started a new school and trying to make friends, and between classes, when people without phones, people in my generation, would have talked on their way to another class or been smiling and saying hi to people in the hallways, everyone in her classes were stuck into their phones, not really having any conversations, not really making friends and contacts and sharing experiences, not really waving at each other and saying hi and meeting each other's expressions and sharing empathetic glances and high fives and thumbs up on their way to another class. It was just very, very lonely. And kind of watching that echoed the experiences that my patients were having when they were at work in the company break room and everyone was on their phones and no one was making small talk. And the experience of being very isolated at work and not having the work relationships during the 8 hours that we spend at work. And people would go home and be on their phones, and their wives or partners would be on their phones, and not having those, how was your day, honey, conversations. And so it's very isolating to have this constant presence of every book that was ever written and every song that was ever created and every movie that was ever created. And now TikTok and Instagram and every picture and meme that's ever been created really causes us to be very isolated from other people. And relationships are one of the things that brings people out of themselves and into good mental health more than anything else that I can recommend. One of the other things that I saw with phones is that the things they bring into our lives are so negative. So whether it's the news or Reddit, the news is so very negative right now. They have 24 hours, 7 days a week to find stories that are very extreme, very frightening, to spin stories that the facts aren't even extreme or frightening in a way that riles people up and creates righteous indignation and fear-mongering, just available at your fingertips, sending you alerts all day long with these incredibly stressful headlines. And when people go to open their phone for an email or for a phone call, the news is right there with alerts and messages, and we don't even have control over our interaction with the news anymore. It's really coming into our world in a very uncontrolled, not when we want it to kind of way. So the news is all very, very negative. And then the social media with all the comparisons and the filters and the social keeping up with the Joneses, but the Joneses aren't the people who live next door. The Joneses are people who live halfway across the country and are 1 in a million, 1%, showing you their lives through a filter, kind of fabulous. And that's really just such an otherworldly expectation for ourselves, and a comparison we can never hope to match. So it really, in so many ways, just makes us feel bad through social media and through things like TikTok and Instagram, that I really am very excited about this phone control in schools, and I wish there was some way that we could implement it in our own lives as adults, because I know people would be so much happier and healthier if they were out of their phones for longer. There was a great study done showing that across all screens, TV, video games, small screens like phones, if we could limit our phone time to 2 hours or less a day, people's mental health improved. And in fact, right around that 2-hour window was where, for every increasing increment of screen time, again, across all screens, markers of mental health for depression, for anxiety, increased linearly along with the increasing screen time. So if you can look across all of your screens and limit it to 2 hours or less a day, I would rather people even experience the pain and frustration of boredom than the increasing amounts of screen time, because in boredom grows creativity, grows the desire to reach out and contact a friend you haven't seen in a long time that might be a little awkward or might be a little frustrating, learning a new musical instrument, writing a song, learning a foreign language, reading a book. All of those things really happen in boredom. And they're not going to happen when we have our phones, because you can never be bored with a phone. It's just too easy, and it doesn't allow us that struggle that can be so healthy in life and so healthy for our mental health. So I'm really excited about this, and I hope you find some reasons to put your phone down too.